Alright, 6T40. I'm going to do an LS kit, which is a kit with clutches, wave plate for the 3.5 reverse, case bushing, which they sent me this one. This is the one I wanted. Pump bushing, chain, input and output speed sensors, and zip kit for the valve body, which is not here yet. So we'll get going on this one. Now, even though this looks very similar to the 6F35, almost everything in it is different. Very, very few parts that you can interchange. All steels, planets, everything's different. Got a D-shaped ring, lip seal that goes in here. Make sure it's not rolled over. Most all of these are D-shaped, except for the ones that are molded. Alright, what did they send me? Alright, slip some 6F35 parts in here. And this is 12 and up. 6T40. What year we got? Alright. So, we have the wrong stuff. I sent 12 and up, and it's an early, it's got to be an early 12. Let's see if I got a lip seal that'll fit this. Alright. Hope not too much else is different. You know, the pump seal is going to be different. Hopefully we can make this thing work. Spring cage, our molded piston, we're going to put the snap ring with the short end of the taper up towards us, and we're going to put the opening in that area right there. Alright, we're going to put our cushion plate on first, and the steel. our pressure plate with the stepped end up. Short end of the taper up towards us again. Our return spring, our molded piston. We got a little notch right here. This is going to sit there. When you push this down to put the snap ring on, short end of the taper up towards us again, the opening is going to go there. Do not push it so far that you break that tab off. Our bearing, our hub. Shaft, and our little clip, short end of the taper up towards us again. This one here is just pretty much easier to put it in with a screwdriver. Just start it on one side and work it around. You can go up inside there. Alright, wavy plate, alternator steels and clutches, our snap ring, I always put the short end of the taper up. Doesn't really matter on that one, but that's the way I always do it. And another bearing. Let's see, I think our seal is going to be wrong. So I'll have to see if I got a seal. It's going to be right. Alright, press the bushing all the way up to that step. The front seal just pushes in. And snap ring holds it in. Alright, the dots up. And the dot's up on this one, the bevel down right there. .30 Torx. Pay particular attention to that bushing that's down inside there. Since there's no sealing rings on the shaft, it uses that bushing to seal, so if there's any wear at all on it, you're going to need to replace that. And then there's 3 more on the front. And then our O-ring. And they have not sent me the filter yet, so I can't put the filter on here. Alright, luckily I had the filter. Alright, they did not give me seals for here, so I'm going to try to hunt those up. Our pump's going to sit on here. This parts situation is just something else. $13mm. Alright, this seal right here, hit on your input shaft before you go changing it out. There have been reports of an undersized seal where it doesn't grip this very well. So make sure it's yours fits before you go ripping it out of there. Alright, take a look at my bushing. It should be okay. Alright, that's it for the, oh, we gotta put our 10 millimeters on this oil slinger. Oil dam, whatever you want to call it. Alright, I'll lube this up. And we can set this off to the side. Change out our speed sensor. On our case bushing here, there's an orifice cut plug in here. This notch needs to be facing there, and it needs to be below that area right there. Just like so. Alright, you check your sealing rings on the back of your drum where it goes in here. If it has resistance and you can feel it sealing on there, you do not need to change these rings. Most of the times they are fine, but if you need to, I would just resize it with the hose clamp. I don't have the tool, so that's what I would use to resize them. Now if you'll look on your piston, it's going to be very hard to see, but right in there is a bleed hole. It needs to face up at the top. Our bevel spring. And our snap ring. The opening is going to be down here at the 6 o'clock. And it's going to be a pain to stick in there. It's going to keep wanting to pop out on you. You can get one part of it in, and the other part of it's going to pop out. You're going to be cussing by the time it's all over with. It's one of those times where it would help to have the tool to stick it in there. Yeah, here it comes, popping out the other side. Yeah, I'm wasting all my battery. Once I get this in, I'll be back. Alright, we're going to need this bearing right here. The flattest side of it faces up. We'll put our drum down in there. Make sure that bearing's on there. Our sun shell. Cushion plate. Put our steels in, the 2 notches. Gonna sit right over here. Put our sprag assembly in. I always mark mine so it's quicker to put it in. I'm gonna have to go in fairly straight. Alright, then our pressure plate goes down. These two over here, one's going to go outside and over here, and the other one's going to go inside. Clutches. There's steel. And their cushion plate. Yep, it's backwards. Is it upside down? Yeah, it's upside down. Then our center support's going to go in. These are molded pistons. They only go in one way. One's bigger than the other. The return springs, or the bevel springs, they only fit on one. So the long feet are going to face down. Our feed holes are going to face over here. It's going to have to go in fairly straight. Actually, before I do that, getting ahead of myself, I gotta get this planetary down in there. This bearing, this bearing, this planet, sun gear, the ID mark down. This bearing, this bearing is going to sit in the end of this planet. Alright, now our support can go in. Sun shell, our cushion plate, the 2 feet over here are gonna be doing the same thing. Our steel, this little tab's got to face almost 12 o'clock position. And we got our snap ring bevel facing up, and the opening is going to be right down here. This opening is going to stay open. Make sure we're all the way up in that groove. Alright, we got a seal that's going to go in right here. This bearing, it's got to go right there. We need to measure this right here. You see how this is worn down just a little bit. 10/1000ths. Sonax makes a shim kit for this. You can buff this down if you want to. As long as it fits down inside there, you can leave it just like it is. Now this bearing sits on top of there. Our chain with the colored link right there is going to face up. And our chain is way too big. Alright, did it to me again. Quit recording. So we put our 10/1000 shim under there. I'm not sure where we ended up leaving off. We got our bearing on top here. We got our oil slinger here. We got our bearing that goes on top here. Our rubber seal that goes for our chain guide. Our sprockets with our chain. Blue link on the top. And we've got to leave this up just a little bit. This side's got to be down enough that the chain guide can fit in there. And then it goes down in this other hole here. There we go. Now our sprocket can go on over here. Put our park mechanism in. The pin's going to go in. The hooked end's going to go underneath the park actuator. This is going to sit on this side over here. We got our plastic washer on top here. Make sure it's all the way down in its groove. Got this bearing to sit on top. We got our differential sun gear, differential, bearing on top, seals in here. Gasket. Case tab. 13mm bolts hold all this in. Alright, inside here are 2 rubber seals. One here and one here. Our output speed sensor. This is the bolt that holds it. $10mm. Our wire has to go up in that groove right there. Alright, ready for the valve body. When we get there to do the lever seal, I'm not going to take all this back out again, but there's a roll pin right here, and I use a pair of these end cutters to pull it out this way. And I use a heel bar to take this nail out that's right there. Just pop it out, stick it back in, lever seal on top. Like I said, I'm not going to take all that back out. We've got a seal right here. We got our new one. Always change this out. Once this starts getting old, it shrinks and water will drip down inside the tranny right there. You ought to do away with it. Alright, let me get the valve body done and then we'll be back. Six of them. And then we got our separator plate. It's part of our valve body, 7mm that holds this in. Go ahead and put our seal on for our connector. Alright. Got our separator plate on. Our manual valve is going to have to line up right there. We got dowel pins to hold the valve body in place. All the really long bolts go for the Tecum. I hope this thing's recording. It says it is. I just said that before. Now, then you got 2 short ones, and the rest are medium. There's one short one. Here's the other short one. Alright, 10 millimeters. Make sure your wire doesn't get pinched there, that it's in that slot that it belongs in. And we got this oil baffle. It's got a gasket that goes on the end down here. Then our output speed sensor wire clips into here. We got this oil dam for the Tecum computer. Let's see how this thing goes again. Yeah, just like that. We got this roller has to fit inside this slot of the neutral switch right here. 8 millimeter. We're going to put our gasket on for our Tecum. Make sure you get the right one. Alright, there we go. Now, put our Tecum on. And we got 10 millimeters go here. Seven millimeters on the computer itself. There, we have to let that sit for a little bit and let that compress, and then we'll come back and retighten it. In the meantime, we can plug our neutral switch in, put our clip on, output speed sensor, clips in there and there. And our input clips in down there. Alright, pan gasket. Got to go in there. Easiest way I found to do this is find the edge that has a big loop on it, and it's got the little area that all goes right there. Sure your seal is on there. let the pan gasket sit for a while and we'll do the same thing. There's an O-ring on our fill cap. And it goes right up here on the top. Alright. Let that pan sit for a little bit. I'll come back and retighten it, and this will be good to go. See you on the next one.